Hey YouTube, it's Mandak coming at you guys with another haul video. So as you guys can see, I'm in a different setting here. So kind of what I alluded to last haul video. I'm actually in the process of moving. So I'm actually staying at my parents' house for probably a few weeks or so until I can get kind of everything figured out. But I figured just let you guys know, yeah, I got a new job. Kind of doing the same thing I've already been doing. So that's kind of cool to see. But yeah, just kind of moving and doing my own thing. And right now, I'm kind of be doing these haul videos from the basement of my parents' house. So that's why you see all the stuff around us. Obviously, I think I mentioned before that I went to Penn State, so you can see all the Penn State stuff here. My whole family actually went there too, so pretty lit. But anyway, guys, I have a haul video here I thought I'd go through. So this haul is pretty big because in stock trades and UPS and the United States Postal Service were all super slow in getting me up to date on all of my stuff that I was taking a haul for. So yeah, all this stuff is kind of all came at once, so that's why I'm doing it here. I also stopped by this place nearby me called Tales of Adventure, which is in Coopersburg, PA, so shout out to them. Picked up some stuff, some two really good books that I found that were out of print, so I was able to get them both for half off, which is a pretty good deal, I would say. So really cool to get that. Some more Iron Man issues to add to my collection. So right now I'm past the 75% mark of collecting all the Iron Man Volume 1 stuff. So really cool to see that. And lastly here I have some Lego sets that I bought. One I got off of Facebook Marketplace and the other one I bought at Target. So really cool to have kind of a mixture of things here. So we'll get into that. But before I start, I do want to talk about what I've been reading this week and I guess the past week or so. Right now I'm actually almost finished with reading all of Paper Girls, so I'm on the last trade right now, and it's really crazy. Really great art, really great storytelling by Brian K. Vaughan. Really enjoying it, and I won't spoil anything for you guys, but originally I guess what I will say is that I initially thought it was kind of like Stranger Things, but honestly it's so much more than Stranger Things. It's a lot of time traveling and stuff like that. So if you're into that kind of storytelling, it's definitely something to pick up. The characters, Tiffany, Mac, Aaron, and I think KJ are the four girls in the story. They're all really cool. They all have unique personalities, and they're just really fleshed out characters. So highly recommend getting that. You can get them in either trade paperbacks. There's 6 of them, or if you want to get the hardcovers, I think there's like 3 of those maybe. So but yeah, that's kind of where I'm reading. So once I finish that, I have a bunch of books that I kind of brought home with me to read for these few weeks out here. So I brought a bunch of Avengers stuff that I'm going to try to get caught up on. Kill or Be Killed, some Marvel team up stuff with Iron Man and Spider-Man. So some stuff to kind of get me by. Don't think I'll actually end up reading all that stuff in the time I'm here, but I got enough just to kind of hold me over while I'm in between places. So a lot of exciting stuff for sure. So yeah, without further ado, 3-minute introduction aside, we'll get into the haul video. So first off, like I said, got a few Iron Man issues here. So first one I have here is Iron Man 110. So this is called Duel Beyond the Stars, and I can't for the life of me remember what the name of this of these like aliens are called, but they look pretty cool. You also have a Jack of Hearts appearance in this book as well, and this is getting like really close to the beginning of Michelini and and Layton and Romita Jr.'s run on Iron Man. So this area is kind of a little bit forgotten too, but I was able to pick this up for $3, which is an issue that I needed for my collection. So really cool to get this. I don't think getting books from this era will be too expensive for me. Anything below 100 though is going to get pretty expensive pretty quick. So anything I can get for like $3 or less is good. They had ones over there for $5, which I might end up going back and buying, but considering how much I was already spending over there, I was kind of like, let me just pace myself. I'll come back later. I don't see anyone buying those issues anytime soon. So, but yeah, add this to the collection. So really cool to see that. So that's Iron Man 110. Next one I got here was Iron Man 111. So excuse the glare there. So this one we got Iron Man facing off against the they're in Wondergore 2, I guess. I read these issues, but I'm having a hard time kind of, like, this is a lot of forgotten years with Iron Man, not a lot of good stories. Memorable stories came out of this era, but really cool to, really cool cover nonetheless, and another issue to kind of snag and have in my collection. So yeah, Iron Man 111. Last issue here for Iron Man, we get Iron Man 113. So again, this is getting towards the beginning of Michelini and Layton's run, and you can kind of see here too, compared to the other two issues, we have the eye slits showing Tony's eyes in the suit, which is, I think, a something that was kind of an artist preference back and forth. Sometimes they just did blacked out eyes, sometimes they did actual, like, you could see the eyes through the mask. So I'm pretty sure throughout their run, it was mostly Iron Man having his eyes shown through the mask. So I can see him facing off against the Unicorn in this issue. So pretty cool to see that. So Iron Man 113. Again, got these all for $3, which I think is a pretty good deal. They're, late silver. I would say they're not silver age. They're early Bronze Age, I guess, if you will. All right. So moving on here to my comics, my trade paperbacks and hardcovers and stuff like that. I was able to get, this is basically the 3 IST orders minus 1 book that I actually didn't get in the mail yet, which I will, I guess, maybe talk about later on in another video. But starting off here, we get the Saga Volume 9 trade paperback. So I do have volumes 1 through 8. So I think this was the last one that they have out there. And I think Saga is starting up soon, or whatever, it's on hiatus or something. I'm not sure. But regardless, now I have all of this. So if I want to sit down and read Saga now, I can certainly do that. Skipped out on the compendiums and the hardcovers. Just went for the trade paperbacks because I was able to find them for cheap kind of around the place. So yeah. So let's see what issues this collects. I don't think it says it. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. I guess I could look it up. Yeah, it doesn't say. Oh, 49 to 54. So you kind of see here some art going on. Really great art here by Fiona Staples. So really excited to see that. And yeah, Saga Volume 9. Critically acclaimed, heard a lot about it, so I want to give it a shot. Alright, so I'd be here like squeaking. It's like the leather couch that I'm sitting on. It's making noise. Anyway, next book I bought here was something that I know my friends were trying to get me to buy for a while. Kept putting it off until I saw that they were pretty decently priced on IST, and I want to build, sorry, that's a dehumidifier. I wanted to build my collection of it. So that book is The Flash by Mark Waid, Volume 1, trade paperback. So Mark Waid, Greg LaRocque, and Jose Marzan Jr. I'm assuming he's like the inker or like the colorer or something. Probably the inker, I would imagine. Yeah, really excited to read this. This is 90s era, I believe, Flash. So I think this is like Volume 2 of The Flash. So really excited to read this. This is probably one of the most critically acclaimed runs for Flash, I would imagine. That's what I've been told. And, I've read a little bit of his character, a while back. I was actually on a podcast called Crisis Cast where we did, we were working on a whole, probably like multi-year project on doing podcasts about Infinity Crisis Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths or whatever. I don't know how to say it, I'm sorry, but yeah, so that's kind of like where I got my exposure to Flash to start off, and from there I kind of bought his Silver Age volume, and now I have that. So just building some more stuff. Once I get all that collected, I want to start reading that. So I think there's like 7 volumes of Mark Waid Flash. I think the last one recently just came out, so definitely going to try to catch up and get those before they go out of print, which inevitably they will with DC. So so yeah, that's Flash by Mark Waid, Volume 1. That collects, just for anyone who isn't familiar, this collects Flash 62, 68 through 68, Flash Annual 4 and 5, and the Flash Special number 1. So this is a pretty thick trade. You can kind of see here how it looks. So I would say probably maybe about 200, 300 pages. Yeah, 300 some pages. So pretty good deal. I think this was like maybe like $13 on IST. So pretty good deal there. Next one I bought here was one of the 2 books that I'll show here next. that were books that I found at Tales of Adventure that were out of print online. So that's why I jumped on them, and also something just to have them in my collection. Don't know, at least for this next book, if I'll be able to collect the other volumes because they're all really out of print at this point. But I'll just start collecting them anyway. So that book is Starman Omnibus Volume 2. So I was able to buy the first volume back. I think if you go back and check out my Harrisburg Comic Con or Harrisburg comic trip haul from 2019, I show the first volume of this. So really excited to have that. My friends were telling me that this is a really good story. You know, even if you're not into the character Starman and don't know a lot about it, it's still a really good book to read. So this book is out of print online, so I was able to find it. It's the paperback version of the omnibus. So this collects, let's see, doesn't say on the back. I think it collects like, I want to say maybe like 20 issues or something. It doesn't say. What the heck, DC? Yeah, it doesn't say. But you can obviously look up the contents yourself. But that's the front, the back. Just some pretty cool art going on here too. You know, obviously, no story is complete without great art, right? So, really excited to see this, and definitely will be reading this at some point for sure. So, this paperback's really nice too. You can see kind of the spine and how it looks. So, yeah, Starman Volume 2. Got that for half off. Again, like I said, it was out of print, so that's kind of why I jumped on it, because it was pretty cheap. So, another out of print book that I found, and pretty excited to find it, and it's also an Epic collection, is Thor to Wake the Mangog. So this is still Stan Lee and Jack Kirby doing Thor. I believe this volume directly supersedes, or directly comes after the I want to say the Wrath of Odin Epic collection. So this follows directly after that, and I believe the Into the Dark Nebula one comes out right after this. So probably gonna end up buying that. That volume is the first volume that comes after all the stuff with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby lead the book. So it's, I think Jerry Conway and Buscema come on the book as well at that point. But yeah, so this is really cool to have. This is out of print online. It goes for crazy prices online. So I have a feeling that Marvel will eventually reprint it. But for right now, it was good to get it for half off. This is one of the earlier Epic collections, I believe, that came out, because you can see here the cover price is still $35 as of right now, unless it's like a really small, like skinny volume. Most Epics go for $40 now. So really excited to get this for $35, and also half off, like I said, of that. So yeah, just another book to add to my Thor collection. So getting a lot of Epics there recently for Thor for sure. All right. Another Epic collection, one of 3 that I have here today actually, is one that I saw online that came out, and I was like, you know what, let me jump on it, because I'm really committed to collecting this in Epic collection, this book in particular in Epic collection, since there's really no other reliable format to get it in other than Omnibus, which I don't want to have to like hunt those down and pay more money for them. Sorry, I'm just adjusting myself here. But yeah, so this one coming up here is Fantastic Four. The name is Doom Epic Collection. Again, same creative team here, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This collects Fantastic Four numbers 68 through 87, and annual number 6, and Not Brand Ek number 6 through 7. So you see here the front with Doom. On the back here you can see the Thing kind of being entangled by some type of technology. Don't really know a lot. Like I said, I've never read any of this stuff yet. I think I've read like the first maybe like 15 issues of Fantastic Four in essential format before stopping and never reading it again. So I definitely want to go back and reread this from the start. But you can see here some obvious, amazing Jack Kirby art. So this is the 5th volume to come out. So I do have the other 4 volumes that come before this. So really excited to have all of this Fantastic Four, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee stuff in Epic format. So you can kind of see here what the spine looks like. They're all the same, you know, usual like light blue kind of text going on there on the side. But Yeah, really dope. Got this for about 44% off on IST, so it came out to about like $22 or something, which is good for a thick paperback like that. So that's that. Next book we have here is another epic, the last one of this group here, and it's something that I obviously was waiting on, and I do have material that double dips with this right now, but I am going to be selling it, so that way I can kind of make some money and, you know, obviously not have the same thing twice. I've already read the other stuff too, so but that is the Iron Man Epic Collection it's called War Machine. So you can see here the cover. This is, I think, right after Rhodey kind of takes over as the head of Stark Industries after Tony dies, and he's also wearing the War Machine armor. Fun fact for anyone out there, Tony was the first one to wear the War Machine armor. It was not Rhodey. And on the back here you can see the cover here, and this is the actual cover that's used on the Iron Man War Machine collection of the same name, that has less issues, I think, and actually has issues that I think go beyond this or something. So the way that this was collected is a little bit like out of place a little bit. So just for anyone who wants to know, this collects Iron Man 278 through 289, annuals 12 and 13, and material from Dark Hawk Annual number 1, Avengers West Coast Annual number 7, and Marvel Holiday Special number 2. So I don't think I've read the Holiday Special or the West Coast Annual. Definitely not have read the Dark Hawk Annual either. But yeah, some of this stuff is in here. This is volume 17 of Iron Man Epic Collection here, so got this for pretty good IST's price. You can kind of see here kind of what you're dealing with. This is the early 90s, so the art is still kind of that 4-color scheme, but you know, that's a good splash page right there of Iron Man. So really excited to read this stuff. I do want to read kind of the stuff that I didn't read in here already, so just some more material to kind of read through and appreciate. I do remember reading the War Machine collection that had the same name when I first bought it, and I really enjoyed it. I read through that like so quickly because it was just a quick read. It's the 90s, so it's a lot faster read than like a 60s or a 70s book. That's more of a slog because there's a lot of narration and wording, but really enjoyed it. So really cool to see that. All right, the next book I got here, kind of in tandem with my last haul, is a book that I was looking to get, and I'm happy I got it, and that is the What If Collection Volume 3. So I spoke in my last haul about the first 2 volumes that I bought, so this is the 3rd one to come out. There is a 4th one, I believe, that's on sale right now, or coming out, I believe, and that's going to collect stuff past this, obviously, but this collects What If numbers 24 through 35, and you can kind of see here the cover. I guess it's like saying like, what if Wolverine killed the Hulk or something, so that's one of the stories to kind of look at there. On the back here you see Daredevil and Elektra. I guess that's one of the things where it's like, what if Elektra never died? But you can kind of see here some of the art on the inside. These were $40, which is a little disappointing because they are a little bit. This one actually is probably as thick as an Epic, but some of them were a little bit skinnier, and I felt like kind of got a little cheaped out of that. But like I said, the reason why it's probably a little bit more expensive is because this is the first time they've ever had to reprint this stuff for the most part, so it's probably why that extra cost is there to kind of defray the cost of having to restore all these books to start with. So yeah, just really excited to read this and kind of explore some other alternate realities with the Watcher, so we'll see. But yeah, that is What If Collection Volume 3. So yeah, so there's 4 coming out. I'm not sure how many more they're gonna collect, but they all really look great. I mean, I'll show you the spine too. They all have that same kind of spine, really clean, looks nice, and on the back, you know, everything looks pretty clean. So really excited to get that for sure. The last book I have here is something that has generated a lot of craziness on the IST, at least in the comic book community, just because of the fact of how hard it was to find at first and how much, you know, back and forth it was going through. And you know, it was put on sale, it sold out, and then it was put on sale again, and it sold out again. Thankfully, the second time it got put on IST, I bought it. Excuse me. And I bought it because I'm like, you know what? I have the omnibus of the later run with Dan Slott, so I'm like, let me get this as well. and that is Silver Surfer. This is the original Silver Surfer series written by Stan Lee with art by John Buscema, I believe. So, yeah, right there on the cover, you can see that. So that's the spine. So pretty thin omnibus. I would say this is probably around 600 pages, I want to say. You can see here what it collects. It collects issues numbers 1 through 18 of Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four Annual number 5, and Not Brand X number 13. So it is pretty thin in terms of collected material. You're looking at probably about 20 some issues on here. So you can see here the cover. And I think what's funny too is on the cover, instead of putting like the price of the issue, they actually put the price of the omnibus right there as like the price of the issue, which is cool. They put $100 there, which is the cover price for this. But on IST, I got this for 44% off, so $56, which is a much better deal, obviously. So you can see here the cover roll in the back. Really nice art by John Buscema. It's a shame Jack Kirby couldn't illustrate his own kind of character that he created, but nonetheless, I hear this is a very acclaimed run of the character, and really excited to read this at some point for sure. So I would assume this is probably one of the good places to start with Silver Surfer as a character, obviously aside from his appearances in the Fantastic Four. So but that's my comic book haul, guys. So I do have some other Lego sets here, so I'm just gonna go over those real quick. But yeah, that haul was really cool. Definitely some material to kind of read up on and enjoy for sure out of my collection. Alright, so getting into our Lego sets. The first one I have here is one that I picked up yesterday actually on a Facebook Marketplace meetup. Don't worry, we were wearing masks, we social distanced. Handed the money to her and she gave me the bag, and as soon as I got back in my car, I sanitized my hands and all that stuff. So making sure I'm doing all that while I'm buying these Legos. But I got it for a good deal, and it's a pretty interesting set because it's actually I'll hold up, so it's in a bag, so I'll show you the bag. Guess what's in this bag, guys? But these are all the pieces, so I'm gonna end up building it probably sometime this week or next week. But this is the actual set. So it's a creator set. It's a 3-in-1, I guess you want to call it that. But it's neat because it's a 3-in-1 set, but it has different seasons. So you can see here kind of this house that has like a summer pool and a tree, which I think is neat. And then you also have this fall one, which has a little tree that has leaves and little like leaf pile, and it's kind of cool. And then you have the winter one, which actually has a different roof on it, which I think was neat. And you can see here they used the roof pieces from the other two builds as like to represent logs, which I think was creative. So sorry, that was the dehumidifier again. So probably gonna end up building the summer set since it is summer, and maybe when it gets around to fall, build a fall set, and then once it gets around to winter, I'll build a winter set. So it's kind of cool, just something to have kind of all year round and kind of build differently. And I like these creator sets. I have a bunch of these. I usually, when I see them on sale or whatever at Target or Walmart, I'll end up buying some. They're really neat to display. They're kind of like little cool things to have. Aside from the Marvel and like the Star Wars sets, I'll usually end up going for some of those creator sets, which I think are pretty cool. So yeah, it's also, some of the elements are also pretty cool too. I might end up breaking it down at some point just to kind of have parts of my collection to build something of my own. But otherwise, I'll have that there for me to have. So got it for $30, which I think is actually pretty good because it looks like it's a pretty old set. So got that for, I would assume, is probably less than what it was retailing for. So alright, and the last set I have here as I close out this video is one that I have been looking at for a while. Never pulled the trigger on because I'm like, you know what, it's kind of expensive even with a 20% discount on it. But I was figuring to myself, I'm like, you know what, I gotta go for completionist. I gotta make sure I complete all the sets that I have for this. And that set is the Lego 76144 Avengers Hulk Helicopter Rescue. So this set came out for $60, and it was quickly discounted to $48 by a lot of stores. Out there in Walmart, Target, you can get it for $48, which is what I paid for it, which I still think is a little bit pricey for a helicopter, a Chitauri ship, and like a little speeder and the Hulk. And pretty much the only exclusive figure you really get in this set, well, maybe two, is this Hulk with the Endgame like suit kind of on. And then, excuse me, you get the rescue armor, which is the main reason why I bought this set. I think that's pretty dope. I mean, the helicopter build is not really too impressive. Honestly, I'm probably more impressed with the Chitauri ship than I am with that. But regardless, now I have all the endgame sets, and I can say that I have them. So that's really cool to own. You can see here kind of the art of what they had there at the time. So wanted to get this before it got put off the shelves and got retired, which I don't think it's too far away from getting retired. It's been out for, I think it came out earlier this year, so it was like a later released set because of, obviously they didn't want to spoil the appearance of the rescue armor. I think that's why they kind of held off on the release of it. But regardless, really cool to own. Definitely will be building this sometime in the near future. So yeah, just 482 pieces, you know, so for 48 bucks, the price per piece is pretty on point there. So but yeah, guys, that's all I really have for my haul this week. So definitely cool to have all this stuff and to get building and get some reading. So again, guys, my next haul might be in the same area. It may not, so just bear with me as I kind of make this transition in my life. But regardless though, guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.